expensive. I'm trying to stretch it out over 3 years. But the building official needs to be a certified building official, and we just sent both the inspector and the building official to training for the 2013 code update. So it costs, and that's the primarily the bump is training.
Okay. Thank you.
Building inspection fees and
When we'll take a comprehensive look at all the functions, but the building department did a nexus comparison and changed their fees, I think, like 6 years ago. So they're not as out of whack as the rest of us.
Since those sprinklers, yeah, I mean, the construction permits are less than half.
Yeah, no, it's been devastating.
Like 222,000 before they came in, down to like 100 grand.
Devastating. I wouldn't build a house. It's cheaper to buy a house than build a house. And there's a lot of houses on the market, so that's building. Okay. Any questions? Okay, so let's go to e-housing. I prepared a memo that's before you, and some of the public has it. We took some care in writing that, and I hesitate to try to summarize it, but it does lay out a path for success. We know, get all my copies of this. What I wanted to do, and I think what the board requested of me when I took over that department, is try to get a handle on what has happened, what is the current state of affairs, and where are we going in the future. And so Jenna worked very hard on this, and I helped her a little bit, but she basically has explained how we got to a negative balance. And there are a number of factors that led to that. I think some management strategies that were not very sound led to this situation, but a significant factor in the negative balance currently is the fact that after some review, together with the CAO, County Council, and outside council, the programs that we had open, we decided we had to put the brakes on it, thus the squandering of the South County grant. Which has gotten an extension. Those were programs that were initiated, and then the program income, getting the money back, with boots on the ground, didn't happen because we were freezing the program. But in the memo, it does describe also other factors. We paid out a former director, we hired an interim director, and that didn't really result in much, but I think $140,000 in the negative. But I'd like to say that, and is explained in this memo, that I think we have the right staff, and I think we're going in the right direction. We're almost completely done with revamping all our guidelines and our contracts and all the things that we found wanting that led to the stoppage of those programs. But I think we're in good shape now. Moving forward, the last page, it kind of talks about where we think we can get in the next 2 to 3 years. And I think, I don't know if we'll be cost neutral, but we're going to be getting close if things. Now, I have to sort of balance this with the fact that the monies that the feds are giving out are decreasing. The complication of the state and their role is ever increasingly difficult. They're hard to work with, and now we're on these 2-year NOFAs that make it really hard to apply for grants in the now. And you have to finish out grants, you've got to expend the grants before you can ask for more. And now it's in a 2-year cycle. It's as if the state is just trying to make it so complicated that only jurisdictions with massive amounts of staff who can run these programs will be the recipients of it. But that said, I mean, it's just a cautionary tale. We're heading into more complicated times with those monies. But Jenna, and at least in the next 2 to 3 years, has a path that's laid out in this memo, and I think we're moving in the right direction. We're certainly trying not to look in the rearview mirror, but looking forward and moving in the right directions. We're paying attention. But I don't know what questions you might have. I'm ready.
So on this one, Maury, on the income sheet is list, there's a $500,000 line item from the state.
Say again?
On this, we're on economic development.
You have that?
There's on the income side is showing one line item of 500,000, and it says state other.
Jenna, you want to?
That is reimbursements from the grants, so that's the
Okay.
revenue
So
that we
that's-
receive from spending.
So like program income?
Yeah.
And that would be activity delivery, and general administration. So it's for all of our expenditures of running the grant, including contractor payments, business loan payments, anything like that. It's everything that we expect to receive as a reimbursement from the city of California.
Which has been hamstrung by what I just talked about.
So that money should be realized this year?
Yes.
fiscal year. So, that's all being generated with, $125,000 in salaries and wages. That's the people that are making that happen.
3 people, 2.5 people.
What does Jim want to need?
I'll take it.
Maybe we could redo.
It is true that you're spending money to put money out there.
Yeah, right. But I mean, that's a. Okay, I just wanted to clarify, I figured that's what it was. Thanks.
Any other questions on?
Well, in referring to the memo, again, in 13, 14, even with the 500,000 coming in, 500,000 going out, if you will, I think I'm reading it right, Jenna.
You are.
And so the 243 is the difference between the 744,000 roughly. But then in the next year, feel pretty comfortable with that? I mean, does that seem to be realistic? I mean, we're just about break even. by
Hey,
next
what are you
year.
insinuating? She came up with
No,
these
I'm looking at her, and I can't see her.
I didn't tell her to sign that.
Sorry, what were you asking?
It looks like
Is what you wrote true?
it's about time you
Honestly-
appeared, by the way. I got tired of looking, trying to look through you.
How do you think I feel?
I can't obviously predict the future, but knowing
No, I
what
know.
our staffing levels have been able to handle in the past, this is an accurate prediction of what I believe we would be able to do in running the housing rehab programs and having the money that we have.
I know you've given a lot of thought, you and Christine, and everybody else have.
So tying into what Jack was saying, are the people, are you anticipating people coming forward, or are they already come forward and you're just gonna fulfill the?
We do have a waiting list, so
You
that,
have a waiting list.
we do have a waiting list, correct, and so we will be able to move forward immediately with the individuals on the waiting list.
So all the
And then we
players
would
are
market
already there
from
in
there.
position to
Well,
go.
like we said, we were in a pause, and we're not gonna be in a pause. People are waiting, as well as we will be advertising the South County grant.
Started
Again,
Tuesday.
started Tuesday, see? She's smart.
So, Jenna,
Yes.
do your numbers anticipate the annual costs of salary and benefits?
It does not, and it details that in the next paragraph,
Okay.
that it does not account for.
Thank you.
the
But
salary.
that goes back to what Larry just commented on. You know, we're spending some money to get a lot of money out.
Right.
So that $205,000 would be able to eat away at any additional, and then we project that we would be able to apply for the 14-15 CDBG NOFA, and if we get awarded, then it would be able to continue to fund from there forward.
And that's what we can't predict.
Correct.
Certainly, I appreciate the problems you've had with the state and so on.
I mean, you,
Well, now we got somebody, you just need, write a letter and have them sign it, and things change. So that's good, we have an advocate.
So we're cash flowing this program, the county or the restricted funds are cash flowing this program for the short term, but you feel like in the long term, you can eat away at the deficit and cover ongoing costs of operation?
That is correct, as long as the state continues the funding levels that they're at this point.
If,
Yes.
if everything goes as planned.
That is correct.
It's a moving target.
So the break-even point is 2 years out, 3 years out?
About 3 years.
About what?
3 years.
Even at the end of 14, 15, it's close.
Well, it's close to the programs, not the salaries.
Okay. Got it. Any other questions by board members?
and this is, but this is is taking care of this old, or what, you said you were gonna address something. Have we gotten to that yet, that old, negative,
That's included
yeah, okay.
in here.
That's what the fiscal year projection is projecting that we will decrease, is just the
Okay.
negative balance.
Which is, I mean, even if this program went away today, I mean, that's still something we have to address.
Yeah,
That
appreciate
is correct.
So it's not like, you know, we give up on this and that goes away.
Right.
This is a way.
If we don't work on getting out of the hole, then.
This is a way to get out of it.
That's right.
I mean, yeah, like a scenario where you just try to like, okay, let's shut the doors, doesn't work. There'd be money to give back, in fact.
It would be over $3 million that
I wasn't gonna scare them.
we return to the city.
Nothing, never mind that. Yeah, no, putting on the brakes and shutting the doors is not an option.
Yeah,
Figuring it out, doing the right things and climbing out, that's the path.
I appreciate it.
So, you basically have a big responsibility on your shoulders.
I know, I think we should make her director and separate her out from my department. She's doing such a good job.
Anybody else have any questions?
Should take animal control?
For the right salary? No, I just, again, you know, I know I keep harping on my staff, but Jen has just been great in figuring this mess out. We wouldn't be here giving you the numbers if I didn't have absolute trust in Jen's confidence, so. We're getting there.
Any other questions? Anybody else? Thank you very much, Jen. Thank you, Lori.
Now, I have other other budgets. Do you want her to continue to stand here?
Thank you.
Geothermal, we kind of covered that we want to use the housing element, or use the money in there for the housing element is allowable use. We are using that fund as well to fund our energy
One
element.
supervisor acquiesced on that.
Okay. Any questions on the geothermal?
So is that something we want to do, or
Yes,
talk about?
I heard you.
Go ahead and put it in?
Board members okay with that? Move the housing element back to geothermal?
Yep.
As long as it's legally doable?
But that's still gonna come back, right?
Yeah, it'll still come back
We're
under
gonna look at the
geothermal, but that'll
Okay.
change the general fund though.
Yeah.
That will, yeah.
We're just using.
Oh,
that.
yeah.
We're
Might
just
change
saying
the
that's
funding.
gonna
It'll
be,
change the general fund.
As a possibility.
Right.
We already have a
Yeah.
consultant.
Right,
It's
exactly.
an issue.
You are right.
Right.
It will be.
Yeah,
Plan comes back to you.
right, yeah.
Any questions on geothermal? Moving on to business parks.
Yep.
588. We're running good on that one, but there is an issue with a renter leaving our incubator building in Westwood, and it's resulted in some internal code enforcement, left a mess basically. So we're going to have a period of time where rent is not received on that building. which will be identified in the next year, but I just wanted to point that out. In our other building, we have a one-stop, and they're tried and true, of course, and paying their bill. But we are going to be in front of the board asking for direction on what they want to do with the incubator building. Do we want to continue offering that as an incubator, or do we want to look at other options? Primarily being disposal. We're running that question through the people that know the answers right now, and we hope to have an answer on disposal of that building in the coming weeks. So we'll be back in front of you. So we're doing good on that budget, but we're missing a renter, and we've got a code enforcement case going in that building. So
Where is it?
where is it?
Address?
Birch Street. It's across from the senior center. Is that Birch? That's Birch.
Behind the community building.
Is that, that's not Bill's?
It was
Or-
Aaron's Auto something.
Oh, it's behind the community center, not across from it.
No, it's behind the
Oh.
community building.
Behind it and across the street from the senior center, I think. Or
Okay.
not the senior center, I don't know.
Well, right next to
Front of the one stop.
It's in, across the street?
No, it's in front of.
In front of, okay. Thank
Any
you.
questions on,
Yeah, I have a quick one.
Yep, you bet.
So what was I don't recall, but we probably, it's been brought up before, but on the income for the business parks, it skyrocketed for this one. I mean, health and social services to, last year, that line item was 39,000, and this year is projected to be 495,000. Under recommended revenue.
Or I can speak on that.
sure.
It is mental health act money
Oh,
to rehabilitate and to update the Beaver One Stop.
They're doing adding on to the building. It's huge. It's a big project, and that's what that's representing. I forgot about that.
And what's the rents in Beaver?
The current rent for Beaver,
Service center rents?
It's $400.
$480.
Yeah, what is it?
The rent,
Yeah, who's renting?
Health and Human Services. It's the one stop.
Okay.
So, I mean, that deal there's like a one-off deal.
Yeah,
obviously.
Disregard.
Yeah. So it's pretty much cost neutral this year, but normally that's a big negative this budget. You know,
No, it breaks even. Yeah.
How? Oh, because there's a big cost in there this year that's not normally in with it. That 495 just kind of washes it out. Is that what it is?
Mhm.
Okay. I'm just looking at the revenue thing. And revenue expenses. Okay. Okay, thanks.
Okay. That it? No, water system. The water system breaks even minus the existing loans. Marty's in negotiations with the city. The city has stated that they want the water systems. Marty and myself will be in front of the board to decide how to handle the debt, which is $69,000 roughly. So the board will be deciding whether to try to pass that along or to forgive it. We'll come to you with options. But the good news is, for years, the only customer is Caltrans across the street from the water system. And they were paying a nominal amount for use. And that changed, I think, 2 years ago. And they have a substantial monthly payment which pays for the operation.
And debt service.
And a little bit of debt service.
Is the city providing the certified operator? Because we don't
Yeah.
have a certified
Right.
operator anymore. So they-
Well, and you know, not being funny, it won't be our problem.
Right, exactly, exactly. But I mean, even now.
They have people, they have
Okay.
people with that license, and you're right, we don't, so it is imperative that we address the situation
Yeah.
in the coming months. I think that's everything.
Anybody have any questions, comments? Julie?
Are we moving on to another budget unit, or you wrapping it
I think Maureen's
I'm
wrapping
wrapping
up.
up.
up?
Did I miss
I know
one?
Mr.
Really
Bunch is
quick,
here.
Did I miss
Just-
any?
No, but since I have Karen and Galen and yourself and Christina in the room, when I went to move the housing element to the geothermal fund, it doesn't appear that there's enough money there, so if the fund balance is set where it is right now, my question would be, there's 201,000 budgeted in professional and specialized services. We're short about $4,000, so my question would be,
Isn't it already, isn't that 201,000, the budgeted expenditures, doesn't that include the housing element? That we changed that in the
It
budget
included
committee?
the energy element.
unless it's included in the 201,000, it's under professional and specialized services.
Well,
I
that's
don't know.
fine, because
It's not, it's in the red now, when I moved that expense.
Right.
So I need to fix it.
the first budget submitted by planning included the housing element of 48,000. I thought we took the 48,000 out of planning in budget committee and put it into geothermal.
That is incorrect, it was moved to non-departmental. So the decision today, the direction was to move it to geothermal, which I just
Right.
did, but now it's in red.
What
So
total do
There
you
is
have there?
sufficient balance on hand now, so there's a problem with the figures.
I could show a fund balance, beginning fund balance of 220,000, revenues of 25.5, expenditures of 250 right now.
That's including the housing element.
Correct,
Right.
and it puts us in the red by $4,000.
No, the 201 includes the housing element.
Yes.
Okay, that's what I wanted
The
to know.
housing element.
Right.
Thank you.
Right, there, yeah, because the energy element is
You
126.
have a lot of stuff in the budget committee I didn't know you were doing. Listening,
And you were there.
We did a lot in budget committee, Marty,
we did,
but I guess we did nothing.
I guess we didn't.
We just talked and ate candy and drank water. Thank you, Marty, you did a great job.
Thank you, I appreciate
And
that.
your crew.
It's my staff.
Actually, it's
Yeah,
those
your
three
staff.
behind you that make you look good.
I know it. I say it every day, I'm the first one.
Hey, pleasure of the board, you want to take Mr. Bunch while he's here?
You can do it 5 minutes.
Yeah, no problem.
I 12:30.
You got it 12:30? You want to do it in 20 minutes, Ken?
Sure.
Okay.
5 minutes.
Gotta get you out of here, Tom. You keep your eye open, we'll go ahead.
Actually,
Let's try and.
Marty, get out of here, I only got 5 minutes.
This afternoon's gonna be difficult, so Ken, let's at least get yours started, shall we?
Yeah, yeah.
I'm not gonna go 12:30.
Ken is in 6. And 6 has a bunch of budget units, so it's gonna be,
I enjoy your sarcasm.
Yeah, he's gotta have a little.
Only problem is I gotta
little
cut mine back to 5 minutes, I don't know if I can throw in a
I
sarcasm.
have heard this one.
Yeah, right.
Jim hasn't heard it yet, but
Yeah, yeah.
it's closer to the back of 6.
Yeah. I have 3 budgets, we'll probably start with the Fund 100-0081.
Yeah, it's the last 3 pages of section 6.
Thank you.
last 3 pages.
To introduce my function, or what we're trying to accomplish with a very small staff, I don't really need to, you know what the assessor's office does. We haven't lost any responsibilities, things have become more complex. But I wanted to let you know that the assessor's office had 13 full-time positions 24 years ago. We're trying to get the job done with 9.5 right now. And the most recent layoff was in November 2009. I lost 25% of my real property staff, primarily because of, fiscal problems, with the county. I've got my 5-year audit being done now that every assessor has. I'm sure the state's gonna demand I get more staffing, and as the economy improves, probably next year I will be asking for more staffing, but I realize it's not a possibility right now. The salaries that might look a little different, the only real change there is when I lost a retired appraiser, not the one we laid off, but one that retired. I can only hire a trainee. I had him for a year and a half. He did a wonderful job, wasn't able to keep him at our salary level. He left, and now I've been able to hire an associate appraiser from another county, someone with 8 years' experience, and that basically shows the bump in the salaries if you take into account the retirement, the longevities, and merit increases. So actually, I'm gonna keep this real short. That's that budget. Next budget is property tax admin. It's just to keep track of some of the money we get from special districts in the city. I have two part-time positions in that budget. It's basically just a status quo budget, been around a long time. The third budget, real quick, is a data processing budget. We're gonna have the tax collector treasurer present some proposals to upgrade and safeguard our property tax system known as CREST. The hardware we're using now is outdated, it's 10 years old. Usually people don't have servers that last 10 years, we're pretty proud of that. The vendor themselves that provides the software that the auditor, tax collector, and assessor uses hasn't raised his monthly maintenance charge in 10 years. He basically is telling me he's gonna keep it the same, and any increase that will be presented to you in the treasurer's budget pretty much goes to a third-party software vendor that relates more to getting over to a Windows environment instead of the system we have right now. So I think, in the effort of keeping it short, let's just go to questions.
Questions from board
Is
members?
there anything we need to know?
Basically, a lot of work coming up. The housing prices will turn around. We have about a third of our housing in a temporary reduced valuation. Those will be coming up. Williamson Act promised to be a huge amount of work.
Temporarily reduced means that they didn't appeal, you just.
Yeah, right, it's not based on appeals, it's either application or our own judgment. Voters voted in Proposition 8, known as a decline in value assessment law, that says that the property owner has a right to the lower of either their factored base year value for Prop 13 or the current market. And current market has collapsed below what houses were selling for in 2005, 6, 7, and 8. And that's turning around in almost every county. Values are coming up nationwide. Our counties always lag behind the trends, and it shows a lot of signs right now of improvement. So I don't think the next year's roll will be a decrease. It'll probably be holding its own and going up some. Any other questions?
Fixing status quo budget.
Pretty much, yeah.
Eric, any questions?
No, I had one question, Kim, I forget where it was, is that a department expense of $10,000?
Yeah, that is a special fund that the assessor's offices have by law when they sell property characteristics. It's kind of a strange deal. We sell data, and by law we have to provide it. And the money can't just go into the general fund. It has to be used for assessor's offices purposes that relate to information gathering. So what I've been using it for is to supplement my general fund supply budget whenever I find a category that fits the dedication that the law says I have to do. So basically information retrieval, I buy some paper out of there, sometimes there's a software issue I can get out of there. Right now there's $21,000 in that budget, and not the budget, funds are $21,000. The $10,000 basically is just to kind of earmark it that there is a special allocated resource there that we'll be using as needed. It's the only budget like that I have, and it's an unusual budget. Any other questions?
Eileen, please.
I have a question.